So, how was the week? You all enjoyed your last week?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So, I thought today we will go with the small quiz and then to the class. Okay, the small quiz we will go first for the quiz and then we'll go to the class. So, I think it's better to wait for another 1 or 2 minutes. So I think Anirudh is there and Nega Sairam Ramkumar, you are new to the class?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. You are from which place? Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm from
Little louder, or you can keep your mic closer to you.
Sir, I'm from Coimbatore, Tiruvallur. I've just moved to India, and I'm studying in Chinmaya Vidyalaya.
Okay, very good. Yeah. Then who else is the new joinee this time? And people who have joined last week or week before who had attended only 1 or 2 class, they can give their feedback. What should we do to make it more effective? What should we do to make it more fruitful to you? In general, people who have listened to me only for 2 3 classes. See, I know Anirudh or a couple of others, Shyam, etc. They are people who know me. I mean, we have taken classes many times. But people who have been to class for 1 or 2 days, are you finding it difficult? Is it okay? So there's a big silence. You can put in the chat box also in case you are not able to speak because of some problem. You can put it in the chat box. If you find any difficulty, you let me know so that we can fine tune and you will not have difficulty. We have to solve the problem, whatever be the problem. Right. Okay. Should we wait for another a minute? Maybe I will wait for another 1 minute or 1 or 2 minutes. Anirudh, where is your friend?
Sir, I don't know, sir.
I mean, you don't go to school, no? So unless you speak to him over phone, you may not know. Good. So Advika, you have something to say? Nedara, Netra.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you had attended 1 or 2 classes?
Yeah, sir. Only one class.
One class. So, what difficulty you felt, or things are okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. No. If you have any difficulty, you let me know. We'll try to solve those things. Lashman, are you okay? Because here we will speak only in English. Lashman,
Yes, sir.
no
Yes,
problem
sir.
for you, no?
No, sir. It's
Okay.
no problem,
Then
sir.
Mr. Rangan, P. Rangan, who is this person? I forgot. P. Rangan.
Sir, Jayashree, sir.
Jayshree. Yeah, correct. Okay. I think they're all old people, yeah. Old students, rather. Good. So we will go to the quiz. It is a oral quiz. I don't have anything to display. Listen to me carefully. You have to behave like a snake now. What is the special quality of a snake?
Sir, hearing.
Yeah, the
power
hearing
is
of the ears of snake will be very, very sharp. So you have to keep your ears very sharp. I am going to read the question. I am not going to display anything in the screen. So listen to the question and then answer. Whoever knows answer, you can answer it, and then once we get the answer, we'll move to the next question so that can cover as many questions as possible. Which of the following states gets the benefit of Idukki power project? Which of the following states gets the benefit of Idukki power project? The options given are Kerala, Orissa, Jammu and Kashmir, Tamil Nadu.
Kerala, sir.
Which of the following states gets the benefit of Idukki power project? Options given are Kerala, Orissa, Jammu and Kashmir and Tamil Nadu.
Kerala, sir.
Kerala, sir.
No, they have said which of the following states. Yeah, so Kerala is the right answer. Yes, okay. Next question. Seismograph is an instrument to measure. Seismograph is an instrument to measure earthquake shocks, air
Earthquake.
pressure, air
Earthquakes.
temperature, height.
Earthquakes.
Earthquake.
Earthquake. Okay, very good, very good. Okay. So I am just starting with something relatively easy questions. Then give the meaning of this word. The word is attenuate. 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 The options given are to fawn, to weaken, to fulminate, to hesitate. Four
Sir,
options are
can
given.
you tell again the spelling, sir?
Attenuate. 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 The options given are to fawn means FAWN, to weaken, to fulminate or fulminate, I don't know how to pronounce, then to hesitate. Have you heard of this word attenuate?
No, sir.
It is an engineering word. Actually, it is used in physics and engineering. Attenuation means to weaken. That is the answer. Okay, no problem. Let's go to next. Atypical. This is the word Atypical. Atypical. The answers given are, you have to find the meaning. Qualitative, unstandardized, irregular, vague. Atypical. Atypical. The options given are qualitative, unstandardized, irregular, vague. VAGUE.
Sir, unstandardized.
Yeah, unstandardized is the right answer. I think very good. Okay, let's go to next question. You have to find each question opposite in meaning. Opposite in meaning you have to find. The word is buoyant. 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 The options are joyless, student, dangerous, secretive. The word is BUOYANT, buoyant. That is the word for which you have to find the opposite word in meaning. Joyless, student, dangerous, secretive.
Sir, joyless.
Is it correct? Do you agree with our friend?
Dangerous, sir.
Dangerous. Somebody said dangerous. Buoyant means what? You will be studying in your 9th standard law of buoyancy, 10th standard or whatever. Law of buoyancy you will be studying. But that is a different thing. That is a different concept. Buoyant means joy. Somebody is buoyant means is joy. So opposite is joyless is the right answer. Okay, let's not spend too much time on this. Okay, now this is a mathematical question, but you no need to write. Keep your again ears very open and then digest the question and then answer. No need to write. If you can write, that's great. That's not required. If m plus 2n is equal to 2m plus n, if m plus 2n is equal to 2m plus n, then m minus n is equal to how much? If m plus
0, sir.
2n is equal to 2m plus n, then m minus n is equal to how much?
Sir, 0, sir. M and N are equal.
0, sir.
Are others we are getting? Just see.
Yes, sir.
If m plus 2n is equal to left hand side m plus 2n, right hand side 2m plus n. So they are asking what is m minus n. Advika, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to understand the question? If not, the answer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So on the left hand side we have m plus 2n, and the right hand side we have 2m plus n. Bring all the m on the one side. So you get one side m, the other side n. So m is equal to n. So m minus n will be 0. That is the thing. Okay. Now another slightly different questions. Maybe if you have a piece of paper, you can write it, or you can keep. If you maybe I think writing is better. If you have a piece of paper, it's good. Again, it's a mathematics problem. I have taken some 2 English, 2 mathematics, and all these questions have come in your NTSC exam. All these questions have been taken from various NTSC exams, and then I am presenting it here. Only thing is, the question there in NTSC may be slightly long. I am just cutting some of the words and then putting it like that. If rupees 6 rupee 25 paisa is made of 80 coins, if rupees 6.25 is made of 80 coins which are either 10 paisa or 5 paisa, how many are there of each kind? I repeat, if the sum of rupees 6.25 is made of 80 coins, which are either 10 paisa or 5 paisa, how many are there of each kind? They have given the answer. I will give you the answer options. That is 40 40, that is 10 paisa 40, 5 paisa 40 is one option. 50 30, 35 45, 45 35. I repeat the question. A sum of rupees 6.25 is made of 80 coins which are either 10 paisa or 5 paisa. How many are there in each kind? 40 40, that is 10 paisa 40, 5 paisa 40. 50 30, that is 10 paisa 50, 5 paisa 30. 35 45, 45 35.
Sir, option மட்டும் மறுபடியும் சொல்லுங்க.
40 40, 10 paisa 40, 5 paisa 40, 50 30, 35 45, 45 35. I think I have to repeat the question. Maybe if you can write, that will be easier for you. I thought you can do mentally also. A sum of rupees 6.25 is made of 80 coins, which are either 10 paisa or 5 paisa. How many are there of each kind? 10 paisa coin 40, 5 paisa coin 40 is the option 1. Option 2 is 10 paisa coin 50, 5 paisa coin 30 is option 2. The third option is 35 45, fourth option is 45 35.
Sir, 45 35.
45 35.
Yes, sir. Last option, sir.
Last option 45 35 they are getting. What about others? That means 10 paisa coin 45. So let us check whether their answer is correct or wrong. 10 paisa coin 45 means 4 rupee 50 paisa. Keep it alag, keep it separate. Then 35 coins of at the rate of 5 paisa. 35 into 5 is how much? 1 rupee 75 paisa. 450 plus 175, if you add together, how much you are getting? 4
6 rupees 25
6
paisa.
rupees 25 paisa. That is the figure given in the question. So 45 35 is the answer. Try and do this to the extent possible whenever you work at home mentally. Don't try use a pen and paper, because in the exam you will be given a sheet of paper, but then if you start writing in the exam, you may lose time. I do not want our students to lose time. They should be very sharp in the mind, and so that they can answer the question just by listening. That is one of the attempt what I am trying to make today, so that you can use your mind power or memory power, whatever you call it. Let us go to the next question. This is also related to mathematics. Listen to this like a snake. A candidate has to obtain 33% of the total marks to pass the exam. A candidate or a student has to obtain 33% of the total marks to pass the exam. He obtains 262 marks and fails by 200 marks. he gets 262 marks and fails by 200 marks. What is the total marks?
Sir, can you repeat the question?
Yes. A candidate has to obtain 33% of total marks to pass. He obtains 260 marks and fails by 200 marks. Find the total marks.
The 1400 marks.
Are we getting 1400? One person has got 1400. I do not know. I don't have any of the answers with me. I have the option answers with me. So from that we can go. But in this case, I don't want to give the options for some reason. I thought you will, because if I give option, you may get confused also. I repeat the question once again. A candidate has to obtain 33% of the total marks to pass. He obtains 262 marks and fails by 200 marks. Find the total marks. So I think 1400 is the right answer. Let us say how to do it. He got 262 marks. He fails by 200 marks. So if he has to pass, he should have got 462. So 462 is equal to 33 1 by 3% of the total marks. From that you have to find the total marks. 462 is equal to 33 1 by 3% of that total marks. X, you can keep it as X. So X is equal to 462 divided by 33 1 by 3 into 3. So that is the kind of total we'll get. So how much you are getting? Are you able to understand the question? I think some difficulty is there in understanding the question, I think. A student has to obtain 33% of total marks to pass. He got 262 but failed by 200 marks. It means he is short of 200 marks. He should have got 462, then he would have passed. And that is equivalent to 33 1 by 3% of the total marks. The total marks only we have to find out. Okay, even if you are not able to answer this, you can take this and then as a homework, and you can do it at home. Or even if you skip one question, nothing wrong in it. We'll go to the next question. Okay, next question is find the odd man out. I'm going to spell out 4 names. You have to find the odd man out. China, India, Pakistan, Australia. China, India, Pakistan, Australia.
Australia.
Australia, sir.
Australia.
Okay, very good. Why Australia?
Because others are belonging to Asian continent, sir.
Correct. Others are all countries and Australia is the only continent. The next question, I am just juxtaposing English and general knowledge and mathematics so that no, you don't get bored. If 5x minus 2y equal to 10 and 6y minus 15x, if 5x minus 2y is equal to 10, then what is the value of 6y minus 15x? If 5x minus 2y is equal to 10, what is the value of 6x minus 15x? I repeat, if 5x minus 2y is equal to 10, then what is the value of 6y minus 15x? Are you able to understand the question? Okay, let me put the question this way.
Sir, is it minus 30, sir?
Minus 30 is the right answer, but yes, how did we get it? Let us look at this. 5x minus 2y is equal to 10. what we are asked is 6y minus 15x. So let us forget about 6y minus 15x at the moment. Suppose if we have to get 5x minus 2y equal to 10, then 15x minus 6y is equal to 30, 3 times of the original one. What is asked is the 6y minus 15x. The minus of this they have asked, so it is equal to minus 30. So that is the answer. Are we getting? Are you, Anirudh,
Yes,
are you with
sir.
us? Where is Anirudh? Is missing, eh?
I'm there, sir.
Are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No, even if our new friends, 8th standard and all, even if they are not able to understand, it's okay. All the 10th standard students, I think they need to understand this. Very important. Okay. Right. Go to next question. A creditor received 86 paisa in a rupee, thereby lost 112 rupees. How much was due to him? I will tell you the background of this question. Suppose you have given a loan to somebody, and that man, somebody is trying to come, we are not able to, nobody is trying to, okay. Suppose you have given a loan to somebody, that man has become a pauper or a bankrupt. He is not able to pay back your money, entire money he is not able to pay back. So he gives you 86 paisa if you have given a loan of 1 rupee. That is, you are losing 14 paisa for 1 rupee. Like that, you have lost 112 rupees. So what is the loan amount you have given to him? So the question, I repeat, a creditor received 86 paisa in a rupee and thereby lost rupees 112. How much was due to him? How much was the loan to him? So if you have given 1 rupee, you will get only 86 paisa back. That means you are losing 14 paisa. If you are losing 14 paisa, then you have given a loan of 1 rupee. If you are losing 112 rupees, so how much loan you have given?
Sir, can you repeat the question?
If a creditor received 86 paisa in a rupee and thereby he lost 112 rupees, how much was the loan was due to him? That is, if you have given a credit of 1 rupee, you get back 86 paisa. That means you lose 14 paisa. That is, if you lose 14 paisa, you have given a loan of 1 rupee. But you are losing 112 rupees. So how much loan you have given?
Sir, is it 1568 paisa, sir?
I don't think so.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, a creditor received 86 paisa in a rupee and thereby lost 112 rupees. How much was due to him? To simplify this, if you have given a loan of 1 rupee, you get back 86 paisa, you lose 14 paisa. So you don't know, they are asking how much loan you have given to him when you have lost 112 rupees.
Sir, is it 8 rupees, sir?
You have lost 112 rupees. How can you give 8 rupees to loan to him? Who is that person?
Sir, Radhesham, sir.
Rajesham. See, you are losing 112 rupees. So you must have given more than 112 rupees. No. Then only you will lose 112 rupees.
Yes,
And
sir.
you are getting back only 14 paisa for every rupee. Sir, you are getting back 86 paisa for every rupee. You are losing 14 paisa for every rupee.
So 800 rupees, sir.
800 rupees is the right answer. That is, for 1 rupee you are losing 14 paisa. That is, if you lose 14 paisa, you have given a loan of 1 rupee. That is the assumption. That is the meaning. So you are losing 112 rupees means you have given a loan of 800 rupees. So you gave a loan of 800. you lost 112 rupees, you got back 788 rupees is the what you got back, and you lost 688 and you lost 112 rupees. That is the meaning. So they will, in the exam, they may not give all this explanation. They will put it in a piece, it's like our Kavidai, they will put it in one line or maximum 2 line. Lot of meaning will be hidden there, and then you should be able to answer it. Okay, that's it about the quiz. Even if you have missed 1 or 2 questions, don't worry. There is, we always have time to catch up. I am going to show a screen of today's class. Okay, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
All of you? Okay. Now, this particular chapter is called Venn diagram. I don't think that all these junior boys and girls would know this. 10th standard, they would know, I think. What, Anirudh, have you heard of this?
Sir, before some months you taught us this.
No, not through me, but
No, sir.
somewhere
No,
in your
sir.
school?
No, sir.
Okay, no problem. Even if you have not gone through this, nothing wrong, we can understand. Like this is called Venn diagram. This comes under a chapter called set theory. In mathematics, there is an area called set theory. So you will be studying a set theory called A union B, B union C, and all those stuff. I don't know whether you have already studied.
Set language.
Set
That is
language,
set language.
set theory or set language or whatever, set equations, you will be studying like that. So now we are not going to use all those A union B, B union C, all those formulas we are not going to use. We are going to solve some problem using common sense, which is very uncommon with all of us. We are trying to find the uncommon common sense, and then we are trying to use that common sense to solve our problem. Let us see how to do it. Are you with me, others? Who are those new people? What's their name? Neha or Netra? Are you able to understand? Even if it's not fully, a bit, all these, whatever I talk, you are able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So this area is called Venn diagram. In a class of 150 students, 55 speak English, 85 speak Telugu, 30 speak neither. There are totally 150 students are there in the class. 55 speak Telugu. I think I have to make it slightly big, no? 55 speak English. 85 speak Telugu. 30 speak neither. Now they are asking how many speak both. So in 150 students, suppose you add all the three, 55 plus 85 plus 30, how much it comes?
170, sir.
170. But only 150 students are there. So definitely there are some students who are speaking more than one language. Now the question is, how many speak both the language? So you cannot add all the three, 55 plus 85 plus 30 and minus 150, that comes 20. In this case, that answer and the actual answer is same, but that is not the way you should solve the problem. you can see on the bottom there is a big bold letters. Can somebody read that? Mugil, can you read this? Total is equal.
Total is equal to only English plus only Tamil plus both plus neither.
Yeah, Telugu. In this case, not Tamil, Telugu. Okay. In this problem, it is Telugu given. So, total is equal to, total is, we know 150 students. No problem. Total, only English means people who speak only English. So, let us say there are some people who speak English, they speak Telugu also. Let us say X people, they speak both English and Telugu. Then if you want to find the people who speak only English, then you have to minus that X from the 55. So only English is equal to 55 minus X. Now you can see the next line. Total is equal to 150 is equal to only English is 55 minus X, but X, that X is equal to people who speak both. That X is equal to people who speak both. You have to minus that from 55. Then plus only Telugu. Telugu, 85 people speak Telugu, but you have to minus that X, then only you will get only Telugu. 85 minus X, and you add the people who speak both, that X you add, and you add people who speak neither, that is 30. So I repeat, see, in a class there are 150 students, 55 speak English, 85 speak Telugu, and 30 speak neither. Okay, so the formula says total number of students equal to people who speak only English plus people who speak only Telugu plus people who speak both plus people who speak neither. So the total is 150 on the left hand side, so okay. People who speak only English is 55 minus X, that X refers to the people who speak both. Then only Telugu is 85 minus X. Both you put that X, neither is given 30. Can you find out X from that? You solve that equation, find X. How much is X? The equation which is given below that, the equation which is given that below that bold letter, 150 equal to 55 minus X plus 85 minus X plus 30. 1 minus X and 1 plus X gets cancelled. So on the right hand side it is 55 plus 85 plus 30 minus X. So bring X on the one side, all the numbers on the other side. How much you are getting? Is it visible?
20, sir.
Sir, it is 20, sir.
20. Okay. So, how many speak both? X refers to people who speak both. If the question is how many speak both, then 20 is the answer. If the question is how many speak only Telugu, how many speak only Telugu?
65, sir.
Yes, the total number of people who speak Telugu is 85. From that you have to minus that both, that is 20, so that is 65. How many speak only Telugu is 65. Next question is, how many speak at least one of the two languages? How many speak at least one of the two languages? So the formula says for this, how to find this, people who speak only Telugu plus people who speak only English plus both, that will give you the answer. So we know the people who speak only Telugu is 65. How many speak only English?
35, sir.
35.
sir.
Yeah, you add that. And then people who speak both, you add that 20. So 65 plus 35 plus 20, that comes to 120. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So 120 is the answer. There is one more way to do this problem. That is, how many speak at least one of the two languages is equal to total number of students minus people who speak neither English nor Telugu. That is neither. So total number of students how much? 150. And people who speak neither is how much?
$30, sir.
30. So 150 minus 30, 120. So there are two ways you can do this. This question can be solved using two methods. How many speak at least one of the two languages? The one method is that is equal to people who speak only Telugu plus only English plus both. You add all the three, you will get the answer. Or from the total, you minus that neither, then you will get an answer that is also equal to how many speak at least, people who speak at least one of the two languages. Understood? Any doubt? Is it little confusing for others?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the confusion? Let us try to speak out. We'll redo the problem. In a class, 150 students are there. 55 speak English. I can show you a diagram that may help you. A diagram which I don't know whether some of you may be familiar with this kind of diagram. I'll just show you. So total number of students equal to 150. People who speak English is equal to 55. People who speak Telugu is 85. People who speak both is equal to we don't know. People who speak neither is 30. Okay. So let me show this diagram to you. How to show the diagram here, no? Yeah, this is what I would do, no? Presentation, no, this one. See, I have put a diagram like this. See, one big rectangular kind of thing is there. That is a big dabba. So that is the total number of students. So the T is equal to 150. Are you able to see this picture, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And one circle refers to the English, people who speak English. That is equal to 55. The another circle refers to people who speak Telugu. That is equal to 85. And these two circles are intersecting at one place. And the common area is refers to the people who speak both. I put it as B. That is equal to X. We don't know. That B we don't know. And that blank area other than that circle, outside the circle but inside that rectangle, that area is neither, that is equal to 30. That is, those are the people who speak neither English nor Telugu. So if you want to cover the entire area of that rectangle, you have to find out what is the total area, total number of students who speak only English. Then you have to add that both. Then you have to add the part of the other circle, that is only Telugu. Then you have to add neither. That will give you the total number of the students who's in the class. That is exactly what we have done without showing the picture. There we have done in our PPT without showing the picture. Now the picture is shown here. Are you convinced? Others? Hello? Arshida, are you there? Okay. Right. Now the thing is, the PPT, you can see. So people, so from that, how many speak both? We have gone with the formula, total number of students equal to only English plus only Tamil, only Telugu plus both plus neither. And then only English is equal to 55 minus X. Only Telugu is equal to 85 minus X. X is the number of students who speak both, and neither is given. From that we found how many people speak both the languages. Right? So this is how you can solve the problem. We will take one more problem in the same style. Then you will understand. Whatever confusion you have will be solved, I think. Can anybody read this? Anirudh, can you read?
Yes, sir. From the start, sir.
Yeah.
In a class of 100 students, 50 passed in math and 70 passed in English. 5 students failed in both math and English.
Yeah. So same diagram you can picturize in your mind. There are 100 students, 50 passed in mathematics, 70 passed in English. 5 students failed. That is, they neither passed in math nor in English. And some students, if you add all the three, 50 plus 70 is 120 plus 5, 125. Whereas we know only there are 100 students are there. So definitely there are students who have passed both. That we need to find out. Right? Now the formula says the total number of students is equal to people who have passed only in mathematics plus people who have passed only in English plus both plus neither. So suppose you say the people who have passed in both, you keep it as B. Instead of X, here we have kept it as B. Both B. No? So people who have passed in mathematics, only in mathematics is equal to 50 minus B. People who have passed only in English is equal to 70 minus B. In this kind of problem, this only has a lot of meaning. No, you have to treat that only with lot of respect. Because otherwise it will, you may get wrong answers. So people who have passed only mathematics is 50 minus B. People who have passed only English is 70 minus B. People who have passed both is B. People who have passed neither is 5. That is equal to 100. So now if you solve, how much you are getting? B is equal to how much?
Sir, B is equal to 75.
Just check. Be careful in calculation. Just check.
25, sir.
Okay, are we getting 25? All of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, it is 25. B is equal to, that is, how many students passed in both? The answer is 25. Next is, how many students passed in exactly one of the two subjects? How many passed in exactly one of the two subjects? How to find out? You have to find out total number of students passed only in mathematics plus total number of students number of students passed only in English. You have to find this. So only in mathematics is how much? How many?
25, sir.
25. Only in English?
45, sir.
So 45 plus 25 is equal to how much?
70.
70. This is one
70,
way.
sir.
Okay, this is one way of doing it. There's another way of doing it. See, the interest of, the beauty of mathematics, you will have many ways of solving a problem. So I am just touching upon one or two ways. For example, how many students passed in exactly one of the two subjects? I can take the total and minus the neither and minus the both. Then I will get the answer. 100 is the total. And I am minusing both, that is 25. I am minusing neither, that is 5. So equal to how much?
70, sir.
70. So that is the answer which we have got in the other way also. So you can use one of these methods. How many failed in at least one subject? How many failed in at least one subject? The easiest method for this is, there are totally 100 students and how many failed in in people who have passed in both is how many? People who have passed in both?
20.
No, people
20,
have,
sir.
25.
25. 25 people passed in both. So all the balance 75, either they have failed in one subject or in two subjects. Am I correct? Out of the 100, people who have passed in both is 25. So definitely the balance 75, either they have lost in one subject or they have lost in two subjects. So what is asked? How many failed in at least one subject is equal to 100 minus 25, that is equal to 75. Or in other, there is one more method, how many failed in at least one subject? No, okay. No, the failed in at least one subject is equal to total minus passed in both. No, here the last but one line you see. I have to make a distinction between the question and the answer, no? Otherwise you will get confused. Say last but one line is the answer. Failed in at least one subject is equal to total minus passed in both, that is 100 minus 25, that is equal to 75. Or the other method is failed in mathematics plus failed in English minus failed in both. You have to put failed in mathematics out of 100, 50 passed in maths. So failed in maths is 50. And out of 100, 70 passed in English. So failed in English is 30. That is 50 plus 30, 80. And failed in both is 5. So you minus that 5, you get 75 here. So you can use one of these method, either this or that. Okay? Are you with me? Little confusing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it should confuse. Then only you are learning. It means you are learning. If you are not getting confused, then you are not learning. Okay, this question you do on your own. This question you do on your own. Can you read?
Yes, sir.
Who will read? Mugil, you read the question?
In a class of 70 students, 30 failed in maths and 35 in statistics. 10 students passed in both. How many failed in both the 5? Only M plus.
Wait. How many failed in both? That's all. Okay, the 5 may be the
Yes,
answer.
sir.
How many students passed only in mathematics? So that is the question. No, how many passed in exactly one of the two subjects? That is the question. Okay, these are the questions. So you try to answer these questions on your own. Now the screen is there. You use that whatever we have learned earlier and then try to find out. Take your own time, some 2-3 minutes. And answers also I have given here. Just see whether you are able to understand. See here they have given, you have to, there they gave the pass diagram. Here you have to put the fail diagram. That's all. There's nothing.
Sir, we want to find who are passed in only maths and only.
No. We have to find how many failed in both. That is the question number 1. Second is we have to find how many students passed only in mathematics. Third is how many passed in exactly one of the two subjects. What is given is failed. What is asked is pass. Little tricky. Not the same thing, but it's more or less same method. So let us see how to do this. How many failed in both? People who have failed only in mathematics plus people who have failed only in statistics, people who have failed in both, and people who have failed in none is equal to the total number of students. That is 70. So people who have failed only in mathematics is what? 30 minus B. People who have failed in statistics, only in statistics, 35 minus B. People who have failed in both, B. People who have passed in both, 10. They have given 10. So that is 30 minus B plus 35 minus B plus B plus 10. 1B, 1 minus B, 1 plus B cancels. So 30 plus 35 is 65 plus 10, 75 minus B is equal to the total number of students, that is 70. So B is equal to 5. Are we getting 5?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Then how many students passed only in mathematics? So here they have given failed ones, one passed only in mathematics. So people who have passed in mathematics is 40 because out of 70, 30 failed. So they passed is 40, balance 40 is, but only mathematics means you have to minus both passed. Both passed is how much? 10. So only mathematics is 40 minus 10 is equal to 30. Are you with me? Little confusing? More confusing.
Yes, sir.
See, how many students passed only in mathematics? How many students failed in math? So there are 30 students failed in maths. So definitely 40 has passed. Okay, keep it. But only in mathematics they are counting. That is, then you have to minus the 10 students passed in both. So 40 minus 10 is equal to 30. How many passed in exactly one of the two subjects? That you have to add how many people who have passed only in maths plus only in statistics. If you get that, that will be the answer. I mean, don't worry about what is there on the bottom. Only the top one you see. Okay. How many passed in exactly one of the two subjects is people who have passed only in mathematics, that is 30, already we found. People who have passed only in statistics, that is 35 minus 10, because 35 students failed in statistics. So pass also 35, and from there you have minus the 10. So 35 minus 10. So that is the thing, whatever you are getting. So 30 plus 25, that is 55 is the answer. Now, okay, even if you are not understood completely, don't bother at this point of time. Okay, I will go back to the first slide. All of you listen. The first slide. Can anybody read that bold one which is there on the bottom? Advika, can you read it?
Yes, sir. Total is equal to only English plus only Telugu plus both plus neither.
Yes, if you remember this, if you understand this, you can solve any type of problem. It is on the crux. This is actually is the mantra or the formula or whatever you call it. This one you have to be very clear. If you know this, whatever be the type of problem in Venn diagram, you can definitely solve it. So this is it. I mean, only thing is, instead of giving pass, they may give fail. Instead of reading, they may sometimes say they read newspaper Hindu or newspaper Times of India. Like that, they may give 2-3 different things. So this is called two-dimension Venn diagrams. 2-parameter Venn diagrams. That is, we have English, Telugu, only 2 parameters. There are 3-parameter Venn diagrams. Don't bother about it right now. You will you will learn it later. So we are for NTSC only 2-parameter Venn diagrams are there. There is no 3-parameter Venn diagram for NTSC. For further, like when you go to 11th or 12th or 10th, whatever, there you will be learning 3-parameter Venn diagram. But now it is not required. So now I just wanted one of you, what all we have studied in Venn diagram, can anybody explain so that everybody can understand? Mugil, can you explain what all we studied? Whatever you have understood about Venn diagram, you can put it in your own language. Mugil is not there. What happened? Something? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So, okay, let me repeat. I think, see, here the problem they will give is, they will give the total number of students and they will give 2 parameters and they will say how many will do 1 parameter. How many, let's say, how many speak in English, that will be 1 parameter. Then they will say how many speak in Telugu will be the other parameter. And then they will give either how many speak both or how many speak neither. One of the things they will give. If they give how many speak neither, then they will ask how many speak both. If they give both, they will ask how many speak neither. So, and then they will ask how many speak at least one of the languages, or how many speak only one language. When they say at least one of the languages, it means only that language, and both also you have to add. If they ask how many speak only one language, then that both will not come. Okay. Now the formula says total number of students is equal to people who speak only English plus only Telugu plus both plus neither. In the formula, there everything is plus. There is no minus haircut. That you have to keep in mind. Now you are tempted to put minus somewhere by using your, sometimes we make that mistake. Total number of students equal to only English plus only Telugu plus both plus neither. If you remember this formula, you can solve any type of problem, 2-parameter Venn diagram problems in your exam. Okay, but you will be learning more of that. Don't worry. Okay, now I think we had. Okay, can we go to this chapter, inequalities? Just about we'll touch upon this chapter. I request Netra to read this. Netra, you are there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, inequality. Can you read that?
Yes, sir. So, if A is greater than B, then
yes, that symbol you have to read it as greater than B. Now you can. Yes.
If A is greater than B, then AB is positive.
Now A minus B is positive. That is minus symbol.
Okay, sir.
This is
then A.
This you have to read as A minus. Oh my God, what happened? A minus B is positive.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I will read. For a moment, I will read. These things are inequalities. All the time we had seen a symbol equal to symbol in all our problems so far, but we have not seen other than the equal symbol. Now, so there are some problem where we don't have an equal symbol. Either we say greater than or lesser than. So the greater than, so wherever that that V kind of thing is there, wherever that both the lines meet, that is smaller, and wherever that V that it is split, that is the bigger. So if A is greater than B, then A minus B is positive. If A is less than B, then A minus B is negative. Let us take an example. 5 is greater than B. 5 is greater than 3. All of you agree? 5 is greater than 3? No question?
Yes, sir.
No problem? Then 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. Is it positive or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. If 5 is greater than 3, then 5 minus 3 is positive. Come to the next one. A is less than B. Let us say A is 3 and B is 5. Then A is 3 is less than B. Then A minus B, that is 3 minus 5, is equal to minus 2. So that is negative. Okay? This is how you have to, you keep a number for this, then it will be easier for you. Go to the next one. If A is greater than B, then we can say B is less than A. Isn't it? Same thing. Same thing they are saying in a different manner. If A is
Yes,
greater
sir.
than B, B is less than A. My brother is elder to me. This is one way of saying it. I am younger to my brother. Both are same?
Yes, sir.
So like that.
Yes, sir.
That's basically that. Next is if A is greater than B and B is greater than C, then we can say A is greater than C. I don't think any dispute is there. If A is greater than B and B is greater than C, then A is greater than C. Yes? if 5 is greater than 3, let's say, and 3 is greater than 1, then we can definitely say 5 is greater than 1. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so okay. With this, we will close today because other things we will learn as in the next class. But this class, our aim is to touch upon only that Venn diagram, and we have touched upon that Venn diagram. I am going to send you those, that whatever PPT are there. I will send you those PPT. You read it once again. Maybe you will find it difficult. I know some of you, that junior people may difficult. Still, you read it. First 3 or 4 slides you read it. Later on, you need not read because some other inequality, etc. come, and then you will understand it. So
Sir, I
now,
have one doubt.
yes,
Sir, is your teaching is only enough to write this exam, or we want to study any extra model question papers?
that's a good question. But studying extra is better, no doubt in it. But then studying extra you can do after my class gets over. Let us say, for example, when we touch upon all the chapters, then you study extra is better. Or suppose I have taken today Venn diagram. Let us say I have completed Venn diagram tomorrow or next class. Then the third week onwards you can study Venn diagram. More problems you can solve. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Like that you go. But then without going, and then if you start on your own, you may get some difficulty in learning it. And many a time students learn it wrong, and then they think that is correct, and finally they make bigger mistakes. You have to be little careful on that. And I
Yes, sir, sure.
suggest you buy one NTSC book. Only one NTSC book. It costs not more than 120 rupees or so. Any NTSC book. I am not saying this or that. Whether Aurora guide is that. No, don't. Any guide you buy one and keep it with you. We have got nearly 20 PPTs. If you are thorough with these 20 PPTs, it is good enough. And then we will be sharing question papers, at least 50 question papers. Monica, understood?
Yes, sir.
So you can, I am not giving all these things today to you because you will, then you will think, my God, this is going to be a big problem, and then you may lose your interest. I will give this once we are passing through the 50% of our syllabus. That time we will expose all these question papers, and then you can answer it. More than 50, there could be even 100 question papers, past question papers. Like 2019 or 20 on 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, like that, up to some 2005 onwards or 2000 onwards, it is there. And we have Karnataka question paper, Kerala question paper kind of thing. Plenty are there, don't worry. But if you want to do
Okay,
extra
sir.
at home, you do it. It's always welcome, nothing wrong in it. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other question? Okay, I think you will go through this PPT, and then if there is any doubt, you can even ask questions in the WhatsApp also during the week. I will be willing to answer, no problem.
Sir, did you want to study CBSE syllabus for SAT?
No, okay. This is actually the CBSE state board and all, don't bother. Exam is an exam. Exam is an exam. Whether it's CBSE, and then that exam we have to you have to bother whether I know Venn diagram or not. That is why more important than whether I know CBSE Venn diagram or state board Venn diagram. You remove that thing from your mind. I think I have told my Anirudh is there. Anirudh? Shyam? We have said when they are there many times. My son, my elder son, he will, suppose when there is exam for this week, on Monday there will be the first exam. I'll ask them on Sunday, என்னப்பா நாளைக்கு என்ன பரீட்சை அப்படின்னு கேட்பேன். அப்போ 5 பேப்பருக்கு அதில் ஏதோ ஒன்று இருக்கும்பா. You will say. Okay, he will go and write on the next day and come back in the evening. I'll just ask him like, how was the day? This is a standard question. He said, it's okay. Paper is not, it's easy, but I have done, okay, somewhat good, not bad, not very good. Then I will ask, what is the exam the next day, Tuesday? He said, one is over, so அந்த நாள் ஏதோ ஒன்று இருக்கும். So this is the kind of mindset you have. You are ready to face the exam anytime, any moment. Don't bother with CBSE, this thing, that thing, and all. And it's not that he will get 100 out of 100, but the kind of confidence he has exhibited, I have, frankly speaking, I have not seen this kind of confidence with many students. Any day you wake him up even at 11 o'clock in the night, டே நாளைக்கு எதோ எக்ஸாம் இருக்கா, நாளைக்கு எதோ எக்ஸாம் இருக்குன்னு உங்கள் ஃப்ரெண்டு கூப்பிட்டாண்டா அப்படின்னா, இருக்கட்டுப்பா நாளைக்கு தான் இருக்குது, அதெல்லாம் காலைல 9 மணிக்கு பார்த்துக்கலாம் and அப்படி will go to sleep. Why I am saying this, I am not saying you should follow that, but then the confidence he is able to exhibit on this is phenomenal. In fact, I was also surprised. I was not like him, but this fellow was very good, and afterwards, he did his engineering, he went for a job, he did MS in US, and then he's working in US. But what I am trying to say, the confidence with which he has got is phenomenal. He may get only 70 or 75 or 80, that is a different thing. So I also wanted you to exhibit a confidence. Don't bother whether some question has come from CBSE, how will I write because I am a state board? Some question has come from a state board, how will I write because I am a CBSE? Don't bother all these small fight and all, don't bother about it. We are learning and we are writing the exam. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.